Welcome to the Rusted Garden Homestead. This is my other YouTube channel called My First Vegetable Garden, and this year for 2022 I'm going to be profiling just about every vegetable, herb, flower that I grow in my garden, and I'm going to put it on this channel. So it's always going to be about harvesting, planting, and taking care of whatever's in video today. Today is the French breakfast French breakfast radish. This was started on March 1st. Frost was around. Today is April 26th. This radish can be ready in anywhere from 25 to 35 days depending on when it germinates. So it's 25 to 35 days after germination. If you're starting this when it's cooler and there's frost around, it may be slower to germinate. Anyway, these radishes are ready to go. And this is what they look like when they're ready to be pulled out of the garden. Almost the size of my thumb. These are delicious radishes. Best grown in cool weather. In Maryland you can start them here in the spring. You can also grow them in the fall. So I'm going to harvest a lot of these. It's just time to pull them out of the ground. Their sizes are going to vary, but you can see they're pretty much standard, about a thumb's length. You know, I consider that success. They're oblong, white tips, very sweet. You can even stir fry the greens and eat those. So this is what they look like about 25 to 35 days after they germinate and have been growing. Let's get in a little bit closer. I'll talk to you about planting and setting up the soil. So there are a lot of ways to plant radishes. First thing I want to talk about is the soil. You want a nice loose soil. Usually just adding in some compost is best. These don't like to be overfed with fertilizer. They just don't need it. They're going to form beautiful radishes as you just saw. Now planting, you can vary the planting space anywhere from 1/2 inch to 2 inches. You're going to read all kinds of different information about that. What I started doing was experimenting, and you can put 2 seeds next to each other and they're going to look something like that. So it's 2 seeds, then this is about 2.5 fingers, you know, maybe an inch and a half, and that's plenty enough space for you to grow 2 radishes per hole. And there's not much difference between the single radishes or the double radishes. In fact, you know, these are a really nice size. Here's another example of 2 radishes in the same hole. So again, you can do 1 radish every inch to 2 inches apart. You could do 1 radish seed, that is. You could put 2 radish seeds in a hole every 1 to 2 inches, and you're going to have a wonderful crop of French breakfast radish. Here's an example of 3, still doing pretty good. So you get the idea. But the general spacing, something like that, and you can decide if you want to go with 1 seed, 2 seed, or even 3 seeds. Radishes will kind of mature together, so maybe you do like 50-75 radishes on, say, March 1st. After they germinate, wait 2 weeks after germination, then you put in another round of 50 radishes. This way you're not eating 100-150 radishes at once. These will mature first. 2 weeks later the next batch of radishes will mature, and you can continue these through the cool season. Once it starts getting warm and the soil warms up to 50-60 degrees, sometimes the radishes become a little bit bitter, kind of pithy. They want to flower and they're just not as good. So these are definitely cool weather crops. French breakfast radishes ready in 25 to 30 days.